These slides are a supplement to the Loading a Dimension with CloverETL video tutorial. One of the viewers had asked, what is metadata? And metadata is data about data. It organizes, documents, and helps with processing of records. Some examples. If you have a field fiscal year, data would be values like 2011, 2010, 2009. It would be the contents that are stored in that particular field. Now, metadata is data describing the field itself in a general sense. It would say fiscal year is a numeric type. It might give a cue to a report saying display this using the header fiscal year. It might include constraints about the data, like mentioning that it won't be null. The CloverETL job in the video is using a technique called dimensional modeling, and that's used in the overall field of data warehousing. That's where data is stored for time-based analysis. This is a technique promoted by Ralph Kimball. And you factor repeating groups as you do in any database design, but you allow for some repetition. And that repetition buys you a quicker aggregation for functions like counting and summing. Facts and dimensions are two types of tables used in dimensional modeling. The fact is the measure that you're collecting, so dollar values, numbers of things, inventory, the actual quantifiable numbers that you'll be adding up in some type of report or analysis. And it's contrasted with a dimension, which is a focal point of analysis. It could be geography, your organization's hierarchy. Date is probably the most popular dimension. That's where you're supporting daily and monthly and yearly roll-ups. In this dimensional modeling example, there is a fact that is a budget item which has an amount. You can see that in the center of the diagram. And there are three dimensions: a school system dimension called SRDIM system, a fund dimension called SRDIM fund, and the popular date dimension. And you can run queries on all of these to produce the types of reports that you want, or if you have an OLAP environment or some other type of reporting or analysis package. The remainder of the diagram isn't relevant to the CloverETL job, but there's a reference table that's kind of a table that helps to translate data. And there's two ETL staging tables. Those are working tables that help to make the data loading easier. Question was posed on the video of what is a lookup. Well, that's a processing pattern where you're looking into one table to retrieve a value for use in another. And here are a few notes regarding that. The lookup is using a surrogate key, and a surrogate key is some meaningless numeric value. When we write applications, we concentrate on high quality keys like employee ID, email, username, some kind of unique company name. In the data warehousing environment, because these high quality keys may not be the same as time goes on, you're going to want to store things under a numeric value so that you don't infer any meaning that's not going to be there in the future. So as an example, today an email may be a very good identifier. In the future, when people don't use email or they have multiple emails, they might opt for another key, in which case that original one will have lost its meaning. Well, the data will still be there. It'll be under the surrogate key. A couple links. The best resource to learn more about dimensional modeling, www.kimballgroup.com. Dimensional modeling is a relatively advanced topic. If you're new to database design, there's probably some things that you'll have to go over before, just in terms of working with relational tables and understanding about joins. Beckwam.blogspot.com, that's a source where I post a lot of loading information, and you might find answers to your questions there. Thank you.